Let me just say a few words. When we were planning this conference, or when we announced last year we were going to have the 6th conference, the therapies were there and people wondered, would there be enough to have a conference? There was that question came out. And hepatitis C, as some of our reviewers and grant panels think it's all over. Clearly this conference illustrated it's far from over. There's so much yet to be done. I just want to thank Naglia for her continued leadership of CAN Hep C, because without this program, we wouldn't have had these symposium every year, and they've been tremendous. And I want to thank all the participants for coming. Again, a great turnout and a great meeting. It has been a remarkable day. I just want to say that I want to thank our sponsors. Make sure I don't forget. I don't know if that slide's coming up again. If you wouldn't mind, put on the original slide of the sponsors. But we do hear some criticism of industry, pharmaceutical companies, big pharmaceutical companies. Let me remind you that nobody would be here talking about a cure without the leadership, the dedication, and the hard work of the pharmaceutical companies. They have made some money, but let me tell you, they've worked very hard in getting these drugs to the market, as well as a lot of the basic scientists and other people that have involved. You've got to thank also the patients that agreed to go into these studies that allowed for the drug development, and the nurses and the nurse practitioners and the research nurses have always been very important in getting these studies through. The PIs wouldn't do it without the research nurses. I know from experience. Let me also say that the meeting is remarkable. The beginning out with Thomas Beaumont this morning just illustrates how rapidly new developments are happening. When you can think about looking at single cells, how much virus is in a single cell, what proteins are phosphorylated or not phosphorylated, remarkable changes to think how we're going to come up and find ways to predict and understand how these viruses cause cancer. Paul Koob's lecture is an outstanding lecture. It really illustrates how the liver is an immune organ, and I don't think you'll ever see internationally a better demonstration of the immune cells in the liver and how they work and how they act. We had a great review of treatment from Michel, always in these meetings. He does a terrific job of reviewing and saying what are the problems, and that was a great overview. Eradication, just remember there's different things. There's control of a viral infection, there's elimination of a viral infection, and elimination usually means you're going to limit it in province, be it PEI, or be it Nova Scotia, BC, but eradication means you eradicate the virus worldwide. There have only been 2 viruses in the world eradicated worldwide. That is smallpox and rinderpest. We're close in polio, but still haven't done it. And by the way, all of those were eliminated with vaccines. So you do need still a vaccine in this area as well. Tim Caulfield gave us a great talk on trust in science and why do people trust movie stars who are not scientists much more than they do their scientific community. And the suspicion of science is really quite sad, how the mass media has used it, and we need to see much more and get out and try to counter that movement, or that we got to get out and make as scientists, make it clear and get out to the public more than we do. Great talks with the information out of BC. I want to just congratulate the people in BC. I know, Mel, you've had a lot of leadership in this, in getting great databases together and then linking these databases so well that we are getting some unique information coming out of that many years of work, Mel. So thank you very much. What has been clearly demonstrated is it's a multidisciplinary teams are needed to look after these patients. And I just want to say that we've seen the psychosocial issues around these diseases, both HIV and hepatitis C. There are differences. We heard about those differences. But I think that Holly and Evan Woods and Holly Hagan illustrated that beautifully. And Gregory Dorr, you did a great job again of telling us why Australia is leading part of the world, at least, in how you come up with a plan to try to eliminate hepatitis C in Australia. And there's much to be learned from the Australian initiative. One of the highlights of this whole program, though, I think, were the 4 women from the Indigenous community. They came and gave us such a heartfelt talk about this disease, but also about the social psychological issues within their community. And their tremendous passion, energy, and translated to us how they feel about their communities. And again, I think that I could say that hepatitis C is really a surrogate of what are some of the social issues, social psychological issues, be it in our inner cities or in our Aboriginal or First Nations communities. It is just a surrogate that we need to do much more. And finally, I would just like to say this meeting would not be possible without Norma. Norma, I want you to come up here and be thanked by everyone.
I'm getting old.
Norma does just a wonderful job for this whole Hep C program. It doesn't matter, and she takes on the Hepatitis C Symposium with her staff, but she leads the staff and has done just a tremendous job again for this program and this day. So I want to thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
We have a small token of appreciation.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It was a pleasure to do all this again this year.
And I would like to finally thank the organizing committee, in particular my co-chair, Carla Coffin. Thank you.
Thank you to all.